Peppa Pig is one of the most beloved children's shows, entertaining kids worldwide with its simple stories, playful characters, and colorful animation. But even the best shows aren't perfect. Over the years, sharp-eyed viewers have spotted a few funny mistakes and inconsistencies in Peppa's adventures. From vanishing objects to impossible physics, these little errors might have slipped past the animators, but they didn't escape our attention. Today, we're diving into some of the funniest and most puzzling mistakes in Peppa Pig you might not have noticed before. Let's get started. In this episode, the Pig family visits a fancy restaurant to celebrate Grandpa Pig's birthday. At their table, 4 napkins are neatly arranged, one for each family member. However, as soon as Daddy Pig puts napkins on Peppa and George, the other 2 napkins mysteriously vanish. Strangely, neither Mummy Pig nor Daddy Pig is wearing a napkin, so it's unclear where the missing ones went. Did the animators forget? Or did those napkins simply disappear into thin air? In this episode, we see the Pig family walking to Grandma Pig's house. Outside, they meet Mr. Wolf, who is dressed in a purple outfit with a shirt and tie underneath. However, when they all head inside for lunch, Mr. Wolf's shirt and tie have completely disappeared. It's as if they vanished into thin air. But that's not the only odd thing. In one scene, Grandma Pig places a large serving dish filled with potatoes in the middle of the kitchen table. While Grandpa Pig enthusiastically talks about how much he loves potatoes, the camera pans back to show the whole room. Suddenly, every character has a potato on their plate, but the serving dish and any leftover potatoes are gone. Could Mr. Wolf have been extra hungry and gobbled up the entire dish as well as the potatoes? It might explain his earlier comment about being very hungry. Super Potato makes a grand entrance at Peppa's school to rescue Mr. Potato, who has somehow gotten stuck inside his car. Using his supposed super strength, Super Potato lifts the glass roof of the car to free him. Here's where the error comes in. Before Super Potato fully removes the roof, Mr. Potato manages to escape through the glass roof anyway. It's as if he magically passes through solid material. While the episode tries to showcase Super Potato as the hero, it seems like Mr. Potato is the one with superpowers here. In this scene, we clearly see a garbage can positioned near the kitchen counter. However, when Peppa rushes past with a toy horse just a moment later, the garbage can is gone. Instead, there are now recycling bins in its place. The sudden switch raises the question. Was this a simple continuity error? Or did someone sneak in and reorganize the kitchen mid-episode? Peppa earns her very first playgroup star for creating an amazing drawing of her house. When she proudly shows her artwork to Madame Gazelle, the background of her drawing is plain white. Later in the episode, when she hangs it on the classroom wall, the background is still white. Everything seems consistent so far. However, after a flashback featuring Daddy Pig as a young student, the drawing reappears, but this time the background has changed to blue. There's no explanation for this sudden transformation. Could it be that the animators decided the white background wasn't exciting enough and swapped it mid-episode? In the episode Eye Test, Peppa visits Daddy Pony's clinic to have her vision checked and see if she needs glasses. While the eye test itself goes smoothly, there's something strange happening in the background. On the shelf behind Peppa, there are several pairs of glasses on display. At first, we can clearly see a green pair of glasses right behind her. However, in the very next scene, when Daddy Pony is testing her eyes, the green glasses have mysteriously changed to a purple pair with square frames. Looks like the animators couldn't keep track of the original color and shape. When Peppa's family arrives at Daddy Pig's brother's house, we see the door handle clearly on one side of the door as they walk in. However, once inside, the handle seems to have magically switched to the opposite side. On top of that, the door, which was left wide open when the family entered, is now mysteriously closed. To make matters even stranger, Chloe's family is shown standing right by the door, so they should have noticed if someone shut it. These inconsistencies make for a puzzling sequence that doesn't quite add up. In this episode, Peppa and George are exploring the greenhouse with Grandpa Pig. In one scene, while Grandpa Pig is throwing a football toward Granddad Dog's greenhouse, we can spot a watering can and some upside-down flower pots nearby. However, when Granddad Dog kicks the football back to Grandpa Pig, those flower pots and the watering can suddenly vanish without explanation, even though they were clearly visible moments before. That's not all. Later in the episode, when Peppa, George, and Grandpa Pig enter the greenhouse, the watering can and upside-down flower pots reappear, now placed beside a giant plant. Oddly enough, if you rewind to the beginning of the episode, these objects weren't anywhere near the giant plant. It almost seems as if the watering can and flower pots decided to move around on their own.
During the family picnic, the setup on the blanket includes a modest selection of food, including 2 sandwiches. But in the next scene, all 4 family members are holding sandwiches. Where did the extras come from? To add to the confusion, 2 new plates appear on the ground, and glasses of orange juice suddenly materialize. One next to Mummy Pig, and another by Daddy Pig. Even the carton of orange juice, which was previously visible, disappears without explanation. It seems like the picnic food has magical multiplying powers. In the episode Trampolines, Peppa and her friends visit a trampoline park for some fun. When they arrive, we can clearly see that Suzy Sheep is wearing blue boots. However, when it's time for everyone to take off their boots before jumping, Suzy's boots have magically turned purple. It seems like the animators couldn't resist switching colors mid-scene again. In the Halloween episode, Madame Gazelle reveals her eerie side when it's shown that she doesn't cast a shadow. However, this isn't her only mysterious ability. While introducing Emily Elephant to the rest of the class, Madame Gazelle stands directly behind her. But when the camera focuses on Emily in a close-up, Madame Gazelle is nowhere to be seen. It's as if she's vanished into thin air. Whether this was an animation slip-up or a deliberate nod to her spooky nature, it's definitely a head-scratcher. In the episode Science Museum, Peppa and her playgroup take an exciting trip to the Science Museum, or perhaps it should be called the Mistake Museum, because it's filled with little errors. For instance, when the group first enters the museum, there's a photo frame on the wall behind Miss Rabbit. However, when the camera zooms in on her, the photo frame mysteriously vanishes. That's not the only odd thing. Later, we see Grampy Rabbit conducting a strange science experiment. After mixing some solutions, he places a vessel on the shelf beside him. But moments later, when the group moves to another section of the museum, the vessel has disappeared entirely. Did Grampy Rabbit accidentally mix some magic into his experiment and make the vessel vanish? It's certainly a possibility. In this episode, Peppa and her family are on an exciting holiday in Australia. At the start, we can clearly see a barbecue grill placed near the front door of Mrs. Kangaroo's house. Later on, the group embarks on an underwater adventure aboard Mrs. Kangaroo's submarine to explore the Great Barrier Reef. But when they return from their trip, the barbecue grill has mysteriously disappeared. Unless someone snuck in and stole it while they were away, it should still be in the same spot. Perhaps Australia has its own version of Mr. Fox. And there you have it, some of the most entertaining mistakes hiding in Peppa Pig. While these little errors might make us laugh or scratch our heads, they don't take away from the charm of the show. After all, no one's perfect, not even Peppa and her friends. Did we miss any mistakes you've noticed? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fun content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.